Once again, I want to give acknowledgement to the Bay Area chapter and also to our Houston chapter in leading the way and reminding us to continue to Zola up as a community and on our families. I just want to say too that many of us understand that it takes a village to raise a child, but during this time of COVID and the 1619 racial pandemic, our village is hurting. So this is a beautiful thing that's being gifted here and an opportunity to Zola up as a full village. I will close by sharing this beautiful prayer that I found that says, I am the son, daughter of the soil, rich in texture and content, full of potential for a better tomorrow. Teach me discipline. Teach me character. Teach me hard work. Teach me to think like the star within me. I am an African child. So, on behalf of all of the Association of Black Psychologists and all the communities that are represented on this call, beautiful Zola up on one another. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. I'm also honored to be allowed to have some space on this within this wonderful family, just to acknowledge the internationalness of ABPsi and the impact that psychology is having across the world. As the international rep, I take my responsibility seriously to acknowledge that the impact of the work that you are all doing and that we are sharing does get manifested out here, and we so need it. We too are suffering in the same ways as you are, and your guidance and leadership has been imperative for us. So for me, it's to say thank you, and I look forward that we're going to have a wonderful time this afternoon for me, this morning for you all, and we can continue to share in this way. So thank you again for this opportunity to speak today. My name is Rhythmn Makin, and I'm the international rep for ABPsi based in UK.
Thank you, Ms. Rhythmn. Brother Tony Jackson, is he not here?
Greetings, everyone. I'm Dr. Ife. I'm here to speak on behalf of Tony Jackson. We're so glad to see you back. Black by Design Part 3. I am the Vice President of our Bay Area chapter under the leadership of Tony Jackson, who is our president, and we welcome you. We're so glad to be back here for Roots Rhythm and Dance, and we will continue to host these wonderful webinars to make sure that we're all in touch and in tune with that which is greater than ourselves, to be guided and to be solid, to be grounded in everything that we're called to do. Ashe.
Thank you, Dr. Ife Tayo. Sister Annelle Williams.
Sister Annelle, you're on mute. We haven't heard a thing you said. Can you start all over, please? You're still on mute. Sister Annelle is attempting to unmute herself, and once she does, you're going to get a big welcome from the Houston chapter.
Very good. Greetings, family, to all our African brothers and sisters, especially in Zimbabwe, South Africa, Jamaica, UK, London, and all our brothers and sisters in the US, and of course the diaspora, wherever you may be. Peace and blessings to you. I am Annelle Williams and have the privilege of serving as the president of the Houston Association of Black Psychologists. I bring you greetings from the Houston chapter and say welcome. It is our pleasure to co-present with the Bay Area chapter and to bring this wonderful and divine ways of healing our community. This is Houston's 5th installment of Black Psychologists Respond to COVID-19. We did mental health in the Black community. We did focus on youth, everyday rituals for our community, well-being and the continued killing of Black people in the pandemic of COVID-19. And presently, Black by Design, Roots, Rhythm, and Rhyme, making medicine to heal our people. We are now in a very perilous time. Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling distracted? Are you feeling stressed or nervous or anxious? You are not alone. Will you have a job? Will your business survive? Are you concerned about police brutality? Will you be next? Are you concerned about Bill and Melinda Gates' crimes against humanity? Are you concerned about Dr. Anthony Fauci and vaccines? Karens posing as domestic threats, federal troops in our cities in Portland and Chicago, whether your children will go to school in a child-free environment. Will you be homeless? Can you make your mortgage? Can you make your rent? Can you take care of food? Are you concerned about killer bees, mosquitoes, hornets, locusts in Africa, dust from the east, the elections, will we have it? There's much to be concerned about, but you must stay focused, family, relax, and enjoy the presenters as they share how they heal, relieve stress in an arts perspective. This is your finest hour, and know that you will survive this. I am Anel Williams, Houston Chapter President.
Thank you so much, Sister Anel. We're going to move into our libations to open us up properly for today's event, today's highlight for us. So I'm going to lead us in libations, and we're going to give thanks to the creating ancestors and make sure that we can get all the energy and all the spiritual enlightenment and all the tools that we need today in communion with those who have come before us. So we say Ashe.
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 So we're going to offer this cool water to the earth. And we ask that the mighty ancestors that have never let us down, that the mighty ancestors, that they be with us on this day in our collectivity, Ashe. We give thanks to the creator, Olodumare. We give thanks to the ancestors. Iba Ashe Egun, Iba Ashe Ori, Iba Ashe Orisha. We give thanks to all the spiritual guides that have led us from the beginning of time to now, so that we may be equipped to walk in our divine destiny and to have our right minds in our heads, Ashe. We give thanks to all the mamas and the babas, Ibashe, Baba, Ibashe, Yeye, all the mothers and the fathers that have come before us, so that we may thrive, so that we may be a learned people, we may be a cultured people, we may be a people who have left impact on the planet and in the heavens, Ashe. And we ask our ancestors to join us today in celebration, that our ancestors who were the master drummers, the ancestors who were the master singers, who were the master rhymers and poets, that they be with us today to inspire us, to feel the energy of the space, to feel the energy of the room in your house, so that we may leave better than we came, Ashe. We give thanks to all those who have come before us, and in our divine destiny and with our divine power, we call on unity now. We call on healing right now. We call on divine grace right now. We call on divine wisdom right now. We call on a spirit of peace, Ashe.
Ashe.
May we be one. May we move as a fortress to the victory that is ours, now and forever. Ashe, Ashe,
Ashe.
Ashe. Thank you so much.
It is now time for me to remind us that the role of the elder is to always remind the people of the most important things. And one of the most important things we in this international meeting have to acknowledge is that we are one global African family, and that our ancestors who we've just invoked expect no less from us than to be free and to be African. Our quest in this freedom is to decolonize our minds and affirm African being through African grand narratives. One of the most profound grand narratives that I have seen is the KwaZulu law of being human. And I want to recite that to us, and you think and meditate on almost every sentence. The KwaZulu law of being human. I am a value. I have all the power to be what I want to be. There is glory in being human. in being a self-defining value. My name is man, and my name is woman. I formed myself from the mandate, and that mandate is the law. I entered the earth as an act of will. I came to realize the promise of being a value, to realize the glory of being human, to realize the glory of being human, to discover the more satisfying dimensions of being a person. I am not alone. I have never been alone. I shall never be alone, for I am a cluster. I am father and mother. I am the cluster of the phenomena which constitutes me. I am father, mother, and child. I am the past. I am the present. I am the future. I have no beginning, and I will have no end. I am the geodesic circle in which father and mother merge to become me. I extend myself into the child. I am the brick out of which society is built. I am the eternal person. In everything I do, in everything I think, I describe myself. I am we. African Grand Narrative.
Ashe.
Thank you, Dr. Nobles. We appreciate your words this morning. And Sister Ifitayo, thank you for the libation. I think we're ready to move right into introducing the speakers. And if we have Ms. Zethu, my sister and namesake. Zethu Kakata is calling in today from South Africa. I'm talking. Who else do we have here? Sister Ethiopia is here. Dr. Lawford Goddard is here. Brother Codwell Dieterville is here. I know I'm killing some of these names. Patricia Nunley is here. Sister Anel. Brother Shaka Jamal. Who else do I see here? Brother Aziz coming in from Los Angeles. And the beautiful sister I'm looking at, is it, say your name, sister. Yes, I'm talking to you. Yes. Sister Aset, I'm sorry, I couldn't see. And Sister Ramiri calling in from the UK. Thanks every one of you for being here today. I, Zetha Nobles, and Sister Ifitayo Flannery are going to be your hosts for this beautiful session this morning on Black by Design, Roots, Rhythm, and Rhyme. We're gonna go right ahead and start with Miss Zethu Kakata. Why am I messing that up today? Kakata, please, sister, let us hear your gifts.
Thank you very much, my sister. Our greetings firstly to our elders who built us this home we call ABPsi. With their permission, I would like to go ahead and thank the ABPsi for inviting me to share in this big topic, making medicine. It is indeed a very big topic because it calls us to a task of self-healing, something that was stripped from us when our lands were invaded, resulting in the enslavement both within and outside our continent. This title, the title of this webinar is a call to return to the source, to return to what the people of my nation call Embo, which is an ancient place that showed us that to have medicine is to be one with the land. Everything we do requires the soil as African people. Every cultural practice we do, from the moment a child is born until the burial where we are returned back to the soil, it requires that we are planted back to the soil all the time so that we grow, we descend from the soil upwards. All of our practices, as I have said, require that we put something underground. We are therefore seeds that germinate and come back. And this is in recognition of the ground as the medicinal terrain. That's why we have problems with the concreting of the ground that the colonials have so normalized, because we need the actual soil, because to us it is medicinal. So therefore, if we say our cultures are spirit-centered, we mean that they are healing cultures. We are a people of healing cultures. That means our cultures are medicine. They are land-rooted cultures. We have a nature-informed way of being. So today I would like to remind us that we need to always remind ourselves that we embody the medicine we seek. But we don't always know that because of our experiences with colonialism and the brutality we suffer. We do not know that the medicine we often seek is always within us because we were socialized to look next door. There is no organism that gives birth to their offspring and asks the neighbor how to raise it. But what colonialism and enslavement did to us is that we always go to the neighbor who is not always who's never had our best interest at heart. We always go to them and ask them, how do we heal? How do we live? How do we eat? How do we breathe? Forgetting that our medicine as the big African family is within ourselves. That's why I have entitled my talk today, The Medicine Within. But we've lost the ears to hear our bodies speak, or the nose to smell, or the taste buds, even the pores on our skin can no longer pick up this medicine. What is interesting is that all of those senses I've mentioned are referred to by one word in many African languages. In my language, that sense is called ukuva. I'm bringing this up because I'm trying to show you that when we say our ontology as African people is relational, we see the world as interconnected components. We mean that we do not fragment senses. This word is showing us that we do not fragment senses. We do not speak of the sense of hearing and the sense of audition and all the different senses. We speak of just ukuva in no contradiction. That means we do not contradict ourselves when we speak. We have this one pervading sense which explains everything about us. That means that we have what I call conceptual consistency. When we speak, we are never in contradiction. We do not have a contradictory ontology. It is relational, it interconnects. Because what we smell is also what we hear. It is also what our skin feels. And also by even the word ukuva, as the people who speak my language would tell you, we only now understand it colonially as meaning a sense of audition, a sense of hearing with your ears, which when we look deep into our language, it doesn't just mean that, it means everything. It is an all-encompassing sense. So what the colonial education which was imposed to us does, it makes us to think colonially. It seeks conceptual equivalence, which is something that does not exist because as we said, we do not share an ontology with our colonizers. We do not share the same way of viewing the world, of perceiving our reality. Therefore, we can't find conceptual equivalences. So when we talk about ukuva, we're looking within ourselves. We're talking about a sense that allows us to listen to our souls, to hear the whispers of our souls, because that is how the land speaks to us. That is how our ancestors speak to us when we listen deeper. That is why you find in our communities, especially rural communities, like in the neighborhood that raised me, you find that the neighbors would wake up every morning to go and greet the next person. And the first question, to ask only this question, which is where our psychology as Black people send us, ukuthi uziva njani? The English language translated to how are you feeling? But if we were to loosely translate it, because when we give this loose translation, they allow us to hear exactly what the words mean. It says, what are you hearing? How are you hearing yourself today? How are you feeling yourself today? And asking, what is your soul whispering to you today? And that is a task you do on the daily basis, meaning that our psychology as indigenous people, or as African people world over, is cultural, is embedded in our culture. It is not a separate psychology. We don't, as I said earlier, we're not a fragmented people. We do not fragment thinking. So, and our response to this question, how are you feeling, Uzivanjani? It activates other psychological components that also show that they are still within that concept of ukuva. We call it uvelwano, that Western psychology would want to translate it into the concept of empathy, but it is not empathy. It's a way of showing how the reciprocity of our cultures, that instead of just the limited sense of empathy you give the next person the ability to feel you fully while you are feeling them. It explains the healing process as a two-way street where both of you are within the same frequency, vibrating within the same wavelength. And also a second relational element of this concept is a concept of umvandedwa. As I said earlier, we no longer hear ourselves, but even though we don't hear ourselves, even though it is difficult for us because our culture, our socialization these days is impacted by colonialism, but our ancestors are never giving up on us. They keep on speaking to us. And our souls keep on hearing these messages. That's why you would have this concept of umvandedwa, which could also be loosely translated as to voices that only you hear. It's those haunting voices, that message that you can't get past, that message, those messages that tell you what to do, no matter how you try to move away, ignore them, or find other ways to deal with them. Maybe see a therapist to try to deal with this thought that doesn't want to leave. But you keep on hearing that. It is still aligned to that concept, Yoguva. It is your soul haunting you to listen, to trying to keep you grounded to the source. So you will always have those connections. And this is what I'm saying today are the things that we need to try to go back to listening to ourselves, go back to activating these concepts, go back to looking at those of us who still have our languages, go back to digging deeper into them, because the meaning is right in front of us. It helps us to make sense. And also this reciprocity is showing, it becomes a critical element because it shows us we are nothing without each other. The minute you go to your neighbor, you are also activating another concept, which is very important to our own understanding of psychology in our society, what they call social psychology. The concept of ukubambisana, meaning that we're carrying the load all together, because that is our medicine. We are a people who carry the load, whether it's physical or emotional, all together. This is communicated in other parts of Africa as ujima, or ilima in my own language, which is isiXhosa. That system of coming together in neighborhoods, especially during the plowing season, where the neighbors will come together and help one another so that we may have a meaningful harvest. So this reciprocity is a critical aspect of African people's culture. We become one, not only as human beings, but also one with the land. We become, once we develop that relationship, we become like plants, like the way we look into our concepts, this branching I was talking about, where just one root branches out to mean other relational elements. That's how plants grow. That's how plants grow to branch out in order to give us fruits. These concepts are that to our spirit. So this is why we cannot accept the world as it is, because this setup is a colonial disruption. So we therefore cannot accept this setup that removes us from our land, that removes us from hearing ourselves speak. We need to imagine the land working for us, healing us. We are unable to do so today because we have legitimized the colonial template, at least most people we live amongst. This colonial template derives from the Western ontology that is very linear in nature and is death-oriented. You can only accept a lie when you are not attuned to yourself. That is why it is important to always listen to ourselves, give ourselves that time to listen to what our souls are whispering to us, because that's how our ancestors reach us. That's how we get our medicine. Your soul knows its truth, but we cannot sense, as no giver, we cannot sense it, we cannot hear it, because we have not silenced the colonial noise that is outside. We are the people of the moon, of the water, of the soil, and of the sun. Things that do not feel right are not right for us. The psychology of the people of the land, which is the African people, is an ancient psychology. It draws from the concept of ubudala. They often, the colonials translated this word ubudala to creating, and I want to dispute that and say ubudala is to actually draw from the old ancient, because it comes from the word dala, which means old. So it doesn't mean create, but it means to draw from the old. We are always drawing from an already existing source. It's never new.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zethu. Your words are always amazing and powerful, and it makes us all think about what our soul is saying. What can we do to heal ourselves? And thinking about this being the roots section of the medicine today, we really the words that you're saying are really in the roots. If you think about a tree and how a tree is planted, what you're saying are exactly what we need to hear. It's the roots. It's about how do we feel others? How do others feel us? How do you vibrate in the world? Thank you, Dr. Zethu, for your words this morning. Brother Shaka is going to continue with the roots section with a film. Brother Shaka, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. Blessings, everybody. Good to be here with you all. I'm going to bless you all with hopefully some audio visual medicine that's rooted in our culture, that's rooted in our ancestors, that's rooted in our Black beautiful brilliance. The first one, since the topic is roots, I'm going to start off with the first minute of a music video that's going to drop on the 3rd by Roots 2000 from South Africa. So I just think our sister who was just speaking from South Africa, this is just a beautiful combination that we have right here. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I'm just going to show you the first minute, because I want y'all to tune in later and be able to really, really soak it in. And I want y'all to know no one has seen this, right? I was working till 3 o'clock in the morning just for this. And then after that, I'm going to show a piece called Wade in the Water, which is a jazz rendition of Wade in the Water that we shot last year. All right, so here's the first one. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Can you hear that?
Yes.
All right, that's it. That's it. That's all I can show you for now. That's this one is called Aye Africa, all about the celebration and unification of Africa and Africans all around the world in the diaspora. All right, that's a new one coming from Roots 2000. All right, now this one is Wade in the Water. I'm going to be able to show you all the whole part of this one. All right, and I know that most of us, if not all of us, know the story of Wade in the water. And just like our sister was saying before, listening to those signs of nature so that we can be guided towards our destination and towards our purpose and towards our liberation. And this one is by the band Alma Maters in Berkeley.
See that man all dressed in red. Must be the people that Moses led. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. all dressed in white. They must be the children called the Israelites. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Brother Shaka.
Blessings, everybody.
Wow.
Blessings.
Wow. Very, very, I'm speechless, and that doesn't happen very often. Wonderful job. Thank you so much for sharing those with us. I'm just wondering, when are those films going to be released to the public so we can encourage people to watch them? And what's the release plan?
Well, the one we just saw. First, let me just say I'm just honored to be here with y'all and to be able to share this and be here. And thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
The one we just watched, "Wade in the Water" by Alma Maters, is on YouTube right now. You can also find it on Facebook. Alma Maters, ALMAMATTERS, Wade in the Water, and it will pop up. And they're also doing donations. That was a drive, and we donated the money from the music video to a group in New Orleans that gives free music lessons to kids. And I know they're going to be doing another fundraiser coming up soon. I believe focused on Oakland. The previous one, Yeah Africa by Roots 2000, who are also Tosa. I know Zetu was saying that earlier. That was also shot in the Eastern Cape with the Amabomvana people, right on the coastline, which is an ancient kingdom in South Africa. That one's going to be released on August 3rd on Monday, and that will be on YouTube. So you just need to go to Roots 2000 Music on Instagram or Facebook, and every day we're going to be providing information on where to go, the YouTube page, Instagram page, Facebook page. They're all at Roots 2000 Music. And
very nice. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to make sure that in the Association of Black Psychologists Facebook page that we make sure we put some links on so other people can see them as well. Very powerful. I love feeling like I was going from the middle of Senegal right into Oakland. I'm an Oakland girl, so that was real powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
thanks.
I'm gonna move right into Senegal with Brother Aziz. He's up here on the line. Good afternoon, Brother Aziz.
Good afternoon, I think.
I'm not sure how well we're hearing you. Can you speak up a little bit louder?
Okay. Good afternoon. How's everybody?
Very good. Thank you for joining us today. We're talking about roots in this section, Brother Aziz, and you're bringing your gift to us today of art. Aziz is a quite prolific artist from Senegal. He's going to talk a little bit about the healing arts and what he's doing in the gallery down in Los Angeles that supports healing in the African community. So can you speak a little bit about that, Aziz?
Good morning. Thank you, everybody. My name is Aziz from Senegal, live in Los Angeles, painter, sculptor, printmaker. Basically, I am the artwork I am doing is maybe healing other people, but I am healing I am the first subject of my what I am teaching. That's what I use to heal myself. I used to come, I used to have a bad accident, like staying maybe 2 years in the hospital, couldn't walk, in a wheelchair. And, but the best things happened to me was just my artwork. And I never see myself as a handicap or anything like that. And, but right now, thankfully, I am walking again, 100% healed. Here in Los Angeles, what I have a gallery. I just opened basically to teach printmaking, to teach painting, to teach basically what I know, what I've been doing for the last 40 years in the United States. Everything I have come from that, at least, like known here doing that. Then basically, everything I do is Black. That's basically that. I do me. I interpret me. Then and that way is very easy. And I am known doing that. Then basically I open an art gallery to basically give anyone who walk in, teach them exactly what I know. My concept of art is a little bit different because I paint only what I can't see. That's mean what I feel. That's the only things I paint only what I feel. Then maybe after it's painted, now you can see it. Then I am basically sharing what I, maybe something imprinted on me, I don't even really know. But whenever I feel it, I put it in as an image and to share it with other people. And maybe that's my form of healing. And I think that attribute is in every single person.
Everybody in this house.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, we hear you. Please continue.
Yeah. That attribute is in every single person, and that can we always very occupied by our surrounding and our things we see. And basically, that's what blinds us to not to see what is inside us. But when we, create that silence, we can touch that part. Like my English is not that good to explain it exactly, but I'm sure you guys understand what I'm saying. It's just like when we take that silence, like get out of that disturbance, paying the bills, like the kids here, the person you have to meet, all that kind of thing. If you just take a rest from that and just sacrifice a little moment in the day, or for yourself, you can find that part, at least in the art, in the art part, you can find that area and that element to can heal basically anything, and that's basically what I know where it is for me to can tap onto it regularly anytime basically I want to. And basically every single artwork I make, or at least I can say 99% of the artwork I create, I never see them before. I just feel them. Is just something I feel.
Can you give us a little peek into the gallery? I know you're still in the process of opening it, but I do see some things hanging around you, behind you. Can you give us a peek into some of the art and maybe talk about some of the healing that's come from some of the things hanging on the walls?
Okay, I don't know how to flip the camera. I am not that, what do I do? I face I can't face, can you see the picture?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see the picture?
Yes, we can see the picture.
Actually, this is not exactly what you really see as an art piece. Is actually painted backward on glass. There is no paper on it. Is actually a piece of glass painted backwards on it. The image is done reverse. We'll take a time for you to come see all the image, but I may have sample. I will show another sample of work.
Beautiful. So when you're painting these works, what kinds of processes are in your mind that build such beautiful art? And I understand the reverse print. So basically you take a piece of glass and you paint backwards in layers, yes?
That's correct.
Nice.
I just did this for a movie just a couple of days ago. This is the painting, and this is the back of the painting. I don't know how. That's the back of the painting. Basically, everything is done on reverse. This is called reverse painting on glass. It's kind of difficult to explain. Then, this basically is us. Everybody have their interpretation of it. Then,
When is the gallery set to open?
the gallery, I don't know. The gallery is open for me. The cover 19, whenever anybody is invited to come to the gallery. this is Los Angeles, and you're not allowed to say it's open or anything like that. As a gallery, barbershop, or something like that. But I am is a studio, in the meantime, a gallery. Then that's mean in that pretext, I am open every time. Anybody is welcome to come. But then basically I am giving some free class to the neighborhood kids, like on Saturday, first 10, I can't take more than, because the place is large enough, I can take 10 kids, in the morning, things like that. Then basically, basically that's another technique, is a print making. It is not reverse, but I create a printing press. I basically created, I make my own plate, and I don't use anything digital or electric. Everything is done by hand.
Very nice.
Maybe that's.
So, Aziz, how can viewers connect with you? Do you have a website? I'm being asked, how do we connect with you online? How do viewers connect with you? Do you have a website or YouTube or Facebook?
Yes, it is azizart.com. Or
A-Z-I-Z. Can you spell it out for us?
azizart.com. The name is Aziz, A-Z-I-Z-D-I-A-G-N-E.
Thank you, Brother Aziz, for sharing your gifts with us this morning as a part of our Roots section. I personally know how art is very healing of the mind, the body, and the soul. And I see all the art that you have in the background. It's amazing to think of what type of healing can happen in your gallery. Congratulations on your gallery. And we wish you the best of success. I can't wait to see it for myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ramiri. Ramiri's going to speak on man-land relationships, I believe. Sister Ramiri.
Yeah, hello, welcome back again. Well, I want to talk about food and maybe a bit about how food is healing and So I was asked to do this. We were originally asked to do this around a piece of work that Patricia Numley had come and seen us do here in UK, and that piece of work that we did was trying to create an African-centered therapeutic workspace. So we wanted to deliver African-centered psychotherapy to the Black community here in Birmingham, which is the second city in UK. And one of the things that we had picked up from the conference, from Dr. Wade actually, was a notion many years ago. I went to a workshop where he described a brown bag that he used to have at university when all the students would get together and they would eat together, and how binding and connecting that was. So we stole that kind of idea and brought it back and said that we, as a staff team, as a group, would meet together regularly and eat. But we took it a stage or two further, because I'm an African-centered priestess. I'm an Osirian, and we as Osirians we are vegan, and so I wanted to share with you. So what we did was say, although I was the only vegan, was to actually bring and say, let us look at why veganism, or why plant-based food, why food that comes from the earth, why we should be eating that, what that's about, and do that together so we could share the experience of eating good, healthy, plant-based foods, but also look at the unity of eating together and what that meant. We also made time within that process to breathe together, because the single and most important thing that we have to do, the thing that nurtures our body, that heals and feeds our body, is air. That's the thing we eat the most of. So we call ourselves breatharians often. And I wanted people so I wanted them and I want us to think about why is it we eat what we eat? Is it out of habit? Is it out of practice? Is it part of tradition? Where did our eating habits come from? And most people from the diaspora would, like Dr. Zita was saying earlier, would have to acknowledge that a lot of our eating patterns and things that we call traditional Black food actually is ex-slave food, ex-colonial food. It is the trail ends of what we made. The trail ends the most delicious thing. We made the wings the most. In the Caribbean, it's pig foot and cow heel and pig tail and all the bits that the massa didn't want. We stewed up. What do you call it? Not grits. What's the other thing you have? I've forgotten it. Anyway, it's all entrails. It's all the inners. And we seasoned, we cleaned, and we seasoned, and we made that thing sweet. But actually, it wasn't our traditional food. It wasn't the food that speaks to our bodies. If we are, as Wade always says, if we are, let me get it right, physical beings, spiritual beings having a physical experience, then how do we heal the vehicle that holds our body? Well, how do we feed that? How do we feed that well? So what we were talking about was something that Patricia Campson said at another workshop I attended back in Miami the first time around for me, which was like about 20 years ago, when she said, when she wanted to ask people, when students said to her, how do I know if what I'm doing is right? And what she said, her answer was, is it good, the question you need to ask, is it good for Africa or is it good for Africans? And if it's good for Africa and it's good for Africans, then it is what we're supposed to be doing. Because a lot of what we do, we've done because we've been socialized to do, colonialized to do, and so forth. To the extent that we now have in Ghana culture, that when you go to meet the chief, you actually have to go, and this I still can't really get my head around it, that there's an order of drink that you must bring to the chief in order to acknowledge, to be respectful, to have an audience with him. And the order goes from the top. The best thing that you could take is a bottle of Black Label Johnny Walker Scotch, then Red Label, then some gin, then some other, and at the bottom, the least respectful thing you get is your local palm oil. So it gets to the point where we begin to make tradition around supporting the economics of England and Scotland and so forth against ourselves. Yeah, and so we have to be very careful as to why we do the things we do, why we eat the foods we eat, why we drink the things we drink. Where do those traditions come from? Where does the idea come from? And start to really go back. I mean, I love the concept of Ubatala when we were talking about drawing from the old, because we used to go by seasons. Yeah, we don't even eat by seasons anymore. So we don't allow our body to rest from sweetness. Yeah, we eat from our taste buds. We eat from our lower spirit. We eat from because that's what we're told to eat, because it's nice. We don't eat because actually that is what our body needs. And our body needs the minerals and things that we collect, we get when we eat from the earth. That notion of being connected to the earth. Because then you connect to the seasons, you eat the right foods at the right time. Each day has a different energy. If you eat to the energy of the day, you are going to be in harmony with the universe, in harmony with spirit. So for example, Mondays are moon days, cool days. You're meant to eat spinach and lettuce and watery foods. Tuesdays are hot, fiery days. Yeah. Thursday also Thor's day. Yeah. And those days those are days for you to eat chilies and eat hot foods. So we need to spend more time understanding what it is we put into our bodies and why we do that. Yeah? If you want to have a sense of what makes sense, look inside your body. If you look inside our tract, you look inside our gut, we don't have a gut of a meat eater. Now, I hate to tell you all this. We don't have a gut of a meat eater. And if we were meant to be in meat eaters, we would just go and grab that cow, yeah, put your teeth in, suck out the blood, and chew it right there and then. And not one of you on this call is going to do that, because we're Black people. We'd have to wash and seriously season before we're going to, and probably deep fry as well. Let's be honest, or barbecue. We'd have to do that in order to make it palatable. And in the Bible, they say we should eat what we can pick with our hands. Yeah, you don't have to do anything with that beautiful ripe mango. You just pluck it off and you just give it what for, skin and all. Yeah, and if you like my daughter who's just mastered the idea of like curry mangoes, when they chop that bone, they're stone. This is like it's like, hey, how does this taste so much like meat? Yeah. So what we're talking about is really spending time thinking about why we eat what we eat, when we eat it. Why have we got these practices? And are we going to mature into an adult palate of understanding that our food is to nurture the body so that we can we can enhance our spiritual selves? Yeah? So that we can actually be the appropriate vehicle for this spirit. Because otherwise, this God-given body, this manifestation of God that we have as our vehicle, has to spend all of its time counteracting the stuff that we're putting into it in order to make it less harmful to us. Because we're not in harmony. We are actually poisoning ourselves most of the time. And we do that because we followed other people's practices. When my parents first came to this country, they from Caribbean, from St. Kitts, when we ate, they would say, what are you eating? They said they're eating, sweet potato, whatever it is, and relish. So the meat that they ate was the tiny little relish thing that they would relish at the side of the plate. If you ask people now what are you eating for dinner, they're going to say beef, pork, chicken, fish, as if there is nothing else on the plate. And even when I became vegan, people would say, well, if you don't eat meat, what do you eat? As if that was all that there was. So we really, as a community, have to look at what does our body require for us to eat. We do not have a very short gut. We have a long gut. We have a 32-foot intestines, which is designed to process plants, not meat, which is why we're getting, the community as a whole, everybody is getting gut cancers and so forth, because meat and stuff is getting stuck inside. We don't even do the purification stuff we used to do. I don't know how many of you remember your parents used to do washout. When you have to have washout, you used to have cod liver oil, and you used to have all these kind of stuff. The older ones are nodding a little bit. To actually clear out your system, to get rid of all of that stuff, which we now just pile on. We're just into speed. The other thing I wanted to say, I'm not going to talk long, was about the significance and the importance of that eating together. That families that eat together stay together. And we are getting into the habit of losing that really important energy that we generate with each other when we sit around food and we share that food on a regular basis, where we make those times. That concept of that Zola up. This is an arena. This food is an arena whereby you are feeding your spirit with the companionship, and you're feeding your body with what you're delivering and you're putting on that plate. We have to understand that most of the foods that we eat now is purely for commercial reasons. This is why things are produced like they are, to have long life, so that they preserve the food. That preservative is not good for us. We need to go back, and my daughter is constantly saying, you need to make sure 50% of what's on your plate, if you're going to eat meat, but 50% of what's on your plate must be animal-based, and 25% of that should be live. Yeah? It should still have life force energy in it. So when I open my fridge and I find something at the back and it's gone moldy and things are growing out of it, I'm thinking, yes, that was real proper food. Except and then you go and you find a tub of margarine that's been there for 2 years and nothing has grown on it because it is plastic. Yeah. So we really need to pay attention and ask the question, what is this I'm putting in my mouth, and why am I putting it in there? What is this? How does this connect to my physical body, to my spiritual body? What am I doing to myself? Yeah? Am I eating this because it's convenient and it's easy, because I've got to rush to the job, because I've got to rush and do this? Yeah? Or am I drinking coffee because today is Wednesday and the coffee is the deity of Sebek, which is a Wednesday energy, and I want to open up things and I want to do this? Do we know the healing powers of different things, or the spiritual connectedness to different pieces of food? Yeah? That we did know. The ancient Kemetics had it all laid out. Yeah? We happen to be in Sekert cycle. Sekert is spiritual power. It's the kind of hawk head equivalent of the Grim Reaper. So the foods that you eat on this day are cold, dry foods. Things like mushrooms and yams and things like that. Yeah? Yam, it's interesting that yam is an ancestral food. It's an ancestral food. We should eat plenty yam. Yeah? We should forget the chips, forget the water. Yam. We should eat yam because that connects us. You know, Sisters of the Yam. Remember the Battle book that all countries of color, all women of color, yeah, eat yam. Yeah? It is full of estrogen. It is full of stuff that we need to go back to learning and understanding and functioning from the position of food being the thing that supports and nurtures our bodies so that we can free our spirits and our minds to do our work.
Dr. Ramery, I always think about the importance of food and how food is truly the medicine. And I think in the Western culture, we always look towards the doctors and pharmaceuticals for medicine, and their job, unfortunately, has not been to tell us that the healing is in the mango. The healing comes from the root, not from the lab. So thank you so much for sharing with us today. Food is definitely the medicine. Your eating habits matter, people. Let's make sure we're taking good care of ourselves, and the healing comes from the kitchen. That's where healing starts. It starts in the kitchen with good, healthy food that comes from a root. I'm going to be passing the microphone over after I thank you all. Thank you to Zethu, to Brother Shaka, to Brother Aziz, and to Sister Ramery. I appreciate the love in the roots, man. That's where it all starts from. I'm going to be passing the mic to my beautiful sister, Ife Tayo, who is going to be hosting for the rhythm section. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sister Zetha. That was amazing. Let's give it up for the first section on roots. What? If you're just joining us by Facebook, this is ABPsi Live, and we welcome you. I'm your co-host, Dr. Ife, representing the Bay Area chapter of ABPsi. We're so excited. We are now moving into the second section of our 3-section program. And so it kicked off strong. I'm feeling lit. I'm feeling alive. And I just hope everyone can join us in good spirits. We are moving into rhythm. We went from roots to rhythm. It's going up the chain. So I'm so excited to introduce our 3 artists for this section. I bet you didn't know psychologists could be this fun. For our rhythm section, we're going to start with our sister Aset. Then we have Kwajo, and then we will proceed with Tracy. So let's give it up for Aset.
Blessings. I just want to give another shout out to Goddess Ramery. She just opened the way for me to go right into what the divine wants me to share with you all. And dua is actually a Kemetic term that means adoration to the divinity within you. And so I'm so grateful that she started out that healing section with the food. And so when we kind of like look at it from a hierarchy perspective, the next layer up would be the mind. And so what I do is I help people get to the root of the psychosis, the complexes, the issues that's plaguing us and stopping us from manifesting our divinity. And I do it through a Kemetic art form called Reiki, Kemetic Reiki. And so with that art form, I use a lot of instruments to help people break up negative energy in all of their energy centers and replace that energy with the positive, high vibrational energy. And so I'm going to spend a few minutes doing that with you all. And before I get into it, I just want to talk a little bit about what we're going to focus on for this short segment. When we think about the thought process, according to the National Science Foundation, on average, we have somewhere between 12,000 and 60,000 thoughts a day. And 80% of those thoughts are negative, and 95% of those thoughts are repetitive. So my question to all of us today is, how much of those negative thoughts are we even aware of? How many times throughout the day do we have negative thoughts, negative internal speech about ourselves? When we think about how we've been acculturated and enculturated in this Western society, we've been forced to live our lives alongside of a culture that in so many ways tell us that we are inferior. And even though many of us rise above that because we educate ourselves and we elevate ourselves, we still hold a lot of the negative energy in our energy centers from all the negative things that were said to us, done to us, all the subconscious imagery that we receive that make us feel less than. And so what I want everyone to do is take a moment and think about the negative conversations that you've had inside your own head about you. And think about the things that you've used your mouth, the power of speech, to say about you that was negative. Because every time we speak, every time we think, we are creating energy, and that energy has to go somewhere. So if you are the source of your negative thoughts and feelings, that's going within you. And it stays there until a process comes along, which is what I'm going to help you do, to move that energy and transform it into a higher vibrational form of energy. And so in the work that I do, I'll just share a quick little story. I work with people, and I worked with a beautiful goddess. And while working with her, I asked her about her perception of self, what she didn't like about her body. And she talked about her hands. And she said that all her life she felt like she had man hands, and she had basically hated her hands. She verbally abused them, right? And she internally abused them. And something like that would seem, simple. All right, she didn't like her hands. But every time she thought about her hands and looked at her hands, she sent negative energy to her hands. And so when we started working, she began to see the beauty in her hands, how she was able to use her hands to add on to her house, do things with her hands that the typical dainty female hand couldn't do, repair things, build things. And then she transformed that negative feeling about her hands, right, into this positive vibrational energy. And then she fell in love with her hands and she appreciated them. So in this segment, I'm going to use the healing drum, and we're going to go through some breathing cycles. And I want you to focus on the negative things that you have said over and over and over about yourself. I don't like my feet. I don't like my nose. I'm too dark. My hair's too short. I'm too shy. I'm too bossy. Whatever it is, when you get into the vibrational frequency, I want you to just see it, hear it, and then we're going to release it through the breath. And you're going to find the beauty in everything about yourself that you once thought was negative. So go ahead and sit up and close your eyes. And I know on this platform you can't feel the full vibration of the drum, and it may even sound somewhat reduced, but it's okay. We're going to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. As you're breathing out through the mouth, I want you to make the ha sound, because you're going to be releasing energy through the breath. Inhaling through the nose, letting your stomach go out like a balloon. Exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. Continue inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth at a comfortable rhythm. Allow your mind to recall the negative things, the negative speech that you have said about yourself. When we have negative internal thoughts and feelings about ourselves, they lead to diseases. They lead to autoimmune dysfunction. as the body turns itself against itself. Continue breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, identifying the negative self-talk and feelings that you have had in the past about yourself. Now, as you inhale, feel yourself inhaling in unconditional love energy from the Creator. As you exhale, feel yourself releasing the negative thoughts and feelings about yourself. Releasing all negative energy associated with your negative thoughts through the breath. Inhaling in unconditional love for yourself, loving every aspect of who you are unconditionally. Exhaling all criticism and negative feelings and self-talk. Sending love and healing to those parts of your body that you have criticized and rejected over the years. Accepting yourself as you are. Divine perfection. Healing yourself through your own unconditional love for yourself. Accepting yourself for who you are fully. Using the breath as you exhale to release all negative energy from your physical, mental, and spiritual body associated with negative feelings and thoughts about yourself. Inhaling in unconditional love for yourself. Exhaling all criticism and rejection. Make a commitment to yourself that moving forward, you will observe your negative thoughts and feelings towards yourself and replace them with acceptance and unconditional love, gratitude and appreciation for all that you are. Allow that to be a source of healing. A tap. You can open your eyes. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Sister Aset. That really changed the energy. You know, I could feel the different energy even around myself. We really appreciate that transformative ritual that we were able to participate under your leadership. Thank you so much, Ashe.
Welcome. Tap.
Hotep. I'd like to ask Brother Quadjo to lead us into our next rhythm, to take us to an even higher level. Ashe, are you here with us? Yes.
So the bar is quite high after that. Yeah, that was magnificent.
I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
good luck, Quadjo.
I know. Well, what I'm going to do is just discuss maybe just a little bit about my thoughts about rhythm and this instrument. I brought the smaller one, so hopefully folks can see it. This is a berimbau, normally seen in Brazil, in African Brazilian culture and rhythm, and used in capoeira, which is an African Brazilian martial art done in music. You know, now it's been globalized. Many years ago, when I first started playing capoeira and eventually teaching capoeira, there weren't that many people doing it. It was in 1988 when I first got my start. And you know, it hadn't really been globalized the way it is now. You know, some of the first international conventions and things of that nature. I think the first one really happened in San Francisco, and I attended that in the late '80s, or I think it was in 1990 actually. But really, what I want to talk about is this instrument, and not just the fact that it's most known for coming out of Brazil, but because most of the Africans that were brought to Brazil and enslaved in Brazil were brought there from, you know, Angola and Central Africa. So this instrument is found in Central Africa and in parts of Angola and Southern Angola. And in the diaspora is found in different variations in Cuba and Peru. And sometimes then, other than being struck with a string, or rather struck with this stick and using this either coin or stone, oftentimes this thing is used almost like as a mouth bow, like this. And what folks don't know is some parts of the southern part of the United States, there are variations of this thing that they call the diddley bow. I don't know if they're still around using these things in maybe Louisiana, Mississippi, and in those areas, but it was called a diddley bow. So people know where Bo Diddley got his name from. And there's even pictures of folks in Bogalusa, Louisiana. They put, instead of a gourd here, is a can, a small can, to give the resonator. So the profundity of the instrument is that it's all across the Afroscape. It's all across, you know, both Africa or southern, even in Southern Africa. There's a version of it in South Africa as well. And it's a Pan-African instrument. But the profundity of the thing, for me, at least when I first heard it, is the single vibrating string, right? So if we talk about rhythm, we're talking about vibration, and this single vibrating string is what lends the sound for this thing. And the sound emanating, of course, from this resonator from out of the gourd. Now, if we think of what rhythm is, really what rhythm is in my definition is ordered vibration. Now, we can carry that thought a little bit further and say that everything in the universe, like absolutely everything, vibrates. So when we say, a lot of the, a lot of the vernacular, a lot of Black language from in the, 60s and 70s, we just talk about the vibe, how, whose vibe is good and who's, how are you vibing, that kind of thing. And so there was a very big consciousness surrounding not just rhythm, but like vibration, like what's the vibe in this room, right? And so I think that that's part of our African consciousness. Another aspect of the thing is that the birimbau in some religious ceremonies in Umbanda, they analogize each part of the instrument to an orisha, so the bow might be a ochosi and things of that nature. So it's very much connected with the spiritual nature of the instrument. So I'm going to just hit a couple of these rhythms with that little introduction and see how people are feeling it, how it's vibing. Uh, I'll start with this rhythm. It's kind of appropriate. It's Angola. Okay, that's one, or rather two rhythms. The first one was Angola, another one is the improvisation on something else. But some of these rhythms, or the rhythms that I'm playing, are specifically for capoeira, and you'll notice that the names of them have to do with Angola a lot. So this next thing is called Salbento, or Saint Benedict, Saint Salbento Grande de Angola, or Saint Benedict of Angola. So let's see. All right. Okay. Okay. So one of the aspects, of course, of capoeira is this notion of resistance also in utilizing rhythm. So the rhythm, of course, brings together all of the players in the circle of capoeira, forming a roda, which you call like a wheel, in order to do capoeira, right? And this rhythm brings the people together into one vibration. But each of these rhythms were played by the mestre at the head of this roda is kind of a coded language as well. And so some of the coded language would be things like being able to warn people that the police were coming, because these gatherings of Africans felt like something that was threatening to the status quo at the time. And so they actually outlawed capoeira, right? And so they had to have people that were able to play a rhythm and devise a rhythm to warn the people that were playing capoeira that the police or the cavalry were coming. All right. Some of the information, in case people want to look up some of these things that I'm giving you in regards to the history of the instrument, comes out of this book right here. It's called Rhythms of Resistance by Peter Fryer. And it's about African musical heritage in Brazil, but more than African musical heritage in Brazil, it talks about the Pan-African nature of many of these instruments. So we have them not just on the continent of Africa, but in the southern continent and North American continent too. It touches us in Louisiana and New Orleans and places like that. All right. So I hope that's been a little bit enlightening and people get a little bit of rhythm out of that as well. I enjoyed presenting to you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Okay, my wife is admonishing me to do the rhythm that is for warning the police. This one is called Cavalaria, all right? Supposed to sound like horses coming. All right, all right. So.
Thank you, Brother Quadjo. Let me ask a question. These rhythms, are they still played for the same purposes, or is it more or less that they hold these meetings, but people just play them for ceremony or, in that way?
Okay, so the Cavalaria is still played, but it's not played for the same reason because capoeira is not outlawed as it was in the early part of the 20th century, right? And so capoeira is very popular. It's more popular than it's ever been, and it's been globalized now, right? So this is what also happens with some of our rhythms of resistance and our art forms. So I'm going to segue, and hopefully I can make this explanation really quick because it's actually a larger lecture that I do in regards to this. So what can happen with rhythms of resistance and our art forms and practices of resistance is that the state, the neo-European nation state, will co-opt it and turn it into, quote, a national sport, or in the case of jazz, quote unquote, America's art form, right? And so Brazil now kind of claims capoeira as the Brazilian national sport, and it's part of folklorico. And now there are people all over the world, capoeira mestres in Japan and parts of Europe, and of course all across the United States now, teaching this art form as as exercise. And of course the spiritual values and things, etc., are still in it, but it's not necessarily characterized as what I believe it is, and a lot of us practitioners believe that it is. It's an African art form in the Americas. It's an African art form born of resistance in the Americas. It's not just a sport or pastime. So just like jazz being, relegated to houses of prostitution and looked down upon, even though it was a very advanced art form and aesthetic, and it eventually gets put into places like Lincoln Center and other concert houses, and then commodified, and then it becomes America's art form once it can be commodified and used and globalized in some way in order to promote a myth that the neo-European nation state created it, rather than what happened, which is Africans in the neo-European nation state created it. So I hope that was quick.
That was good. That's very clear. Yeah, I totally understand. I like that you used that the relationship with jazz too, and how we forget now, but it was quite the underworld, a part of the underworld before. So
exactly.
Thank you so much, Quadjo. That was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Provided, I don't know how, but something with the type of vibration from those strings, it provides like an imagery for me. in my mind when you were playing. So I was
Beautiful.
seeing things you were talking about. So we are so grateful.
Well, thank
Let's
you.
give it up for Quad Joe. He's a active member with us at the Bay Area ABPsi chapter. We always appreciate his talents and wisdom. Thank you so much. Our next person in our rhythm section is Tracy, and we welcome you. Tracy, are you with us?
I am. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. What a wonderful segue to my brief introduction into traditional West African dance and how that can provide healing through the rhythms and the movements. And I'm trying to pull up a picture here that is, I think, very appropriate. It is a picture of a map of the transatlantic slave trade. And I hope everyone can see that. It is coming up. Can everyone see that?
I'm not seeing it on the screen.
Not seeing it, okay. I'm trying to do shared screen and I guess it's not working. Well, anyway, I see it on my screen. I have it here, but anywho, my name is Tracy Jackson. I am the founder and director of Intuitive African Dance here in Houston, Texas, where we have been providing educational forums, performances, workshops with live drumming and traditional dances from West African countries, primarily the country of Guinea, Mali, and Senegal. And this is very important to us because, as our brother previously stated, these rhythms are centuries old, and they were taken from the continent and traveled over the waters all over the world. I'm really upset you can't see my map. All over the world, Europe, the Caribbean, South America, and of course the North American continent. And I like to use these rhythms because they are steeped in specific meanings. Dancing and drumming was the way that our ancestors communicated about everyday living things, from planting and harvesting food, from choosing a mate to giving birth, and of course for religious purposes, preparing for war. Everything that took place in a daily life could be seen in drumming and dancing. And I like to say one of the blessings of the slave trade is that this art form was shared with the world, and it transitioned and or fused with music and dance genres that existed in the countries that our people were taken to. I find this to be very comforting. I can tell you that engaging in this art form for the last 13 years, I founded Intuitive in 2007, although I've been studying this art form for the last 25 years. And it provides me with a small link to the roots that have been taken from us, right? That we know nothing about. And when I teach these dances or perform these dances, I make sure that the audience understands that we're just not up here moving and grooving. These are spiritual movements. The drums play what are known as polyrhythms, meaning several rhythms being played at once to create one sound, right? The movements, polycentric in nature. Your body has several centers of movement, moving at the same time in different ways. And I often explain to my participants and students, these dances are spirit-filled and they are technical, but they are spirit-filled. So the rhythm that I've chosen to share today, and I hope we can hear the music on the shared screen, it's called Dundungba. Dundungba is known as the dance of the strong man. It is from the country of Guinea, West Africa. And it is danced as the men, traditionally, it was danced as the men would prepare to go to war, right? So yeah, think about that. When we engage in an activity, we prepare mentally. We set up our strategies, our tactics, right? When we're able to travel again on these fabulous trips, ladies, don't we go into very detailed planning, what we're gonna wear on which days, getting our hair and nails done, what shoes and purses we're going to take, what places we're going to visit. Well, in doing this rhythm, I like to share with people, you know, even though we may not be actively at war, in essence, we are. We have a lot of battles going on these days, both internally with ourselves individually, within our families, definitely within our communities, and of course in this society as a whole. So with this rhythm, I ask students, you know, let this rhythm get your mind ready. Put your action steps together, your strategies, your tactics of how you're going to handle this obstacle that you're facing in your life right now or within your family. You know, don't just feel about it. Yes, we're going to feel a way about some things, anger, sadness, anxiety, depression, you know, whatever the feelings are, and those are okay. But once we can get to a point where we're not reacting to those feelings, let's strategize. Let's get our game plan together on how we're going to handle whatever the obstacle is. So let me see now if I can share the music. And I'm gonna try again to share the picture. Okay, how about now? Can you see the picture?
No, it doesn't look like you've shared your screen yet. Did you push the share screen button at the bottom?
I did.
Oh, maybe.
How about now? No?
No.
No, okay.
She has to select the image and then click share.
Okay, well now I'm just gonna go and see if I can play the music. Hopefully you will be able to hear that while I just do a few steps of Dundungba to show you just, you know, how the rhythm sounds and how some of the steps move with the rhythm. So I hope you can hear that. And it's saying internal error. Okay, how about now? You hear that? Are you hearing it? Can you hear that? Okay. All right. So, any questions for me?
That was so good. I didn't expect the drums to be that live when you played them. Oh my goodness.
That is actually a recording that was made by my sons. They've been drumming with me since they were about 6. They're now soon to be 21 and 19.
Wow.
And they are very musically inclined.
And remind us, this particular rhythm that you played, that you had playing, would typically be for what type of ceremony or ritual?
So that rhythm is called Dung Dung Ba. Traditionally, it was the rhythm that was played as the men would prepare to go to war.
Oh, yeah, you could feel that high propensity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now it's more of a contemporary dance. I had the privilege to travel to Africa in December. I went to Guinea, and you will often find what they call Dung Dung Ba dance and drum circles. I refer to it as the original Soul Train line, right? Except you're in the circle, the community is present, elders, children, dancers, drummers. Drummers are playing, dancers get in the circle, and they're basically saying, I'm the baddest dancer out here. Others, whether they're dancers or drummers, are cheering you on, encouraging you, right? Very much a community event.
That was beautiful. We felt that one. How do people connect with you? Are you accessible?
Yes, I am on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Intuitive African Dance and Drum Culture. I will be teaching West African dance at the University of Houston for their dance department in the fall. And hopefully we will sometime in the future get back to live classes and performances.
So are you doing virtual classes now?
I have been doing pop-up classes. It just, we've been doing virtual classes. Of course, I had to finish out the semester at U of H online earlier this year. But as you can hear and see, this art form is an in-person kind of thing, as things develop in these dynamic times, I may do a pop-up class just so people can relax, relate, and release, or we may go to the park. I've done one in the park with social distancing and everyone can get fresh air. But I will let you know if there's one coming up soon.
Thank you so much, Tracy. That was invigorating.
Well, thank you for having me.
This section has been amazing on rhythm. So we appreciate all of our artists, all of our technicians, all of our spiritualists that have given us just something to take away for today. We greet you, ABPsi. We're on Facebook Live, coming to you today with Roots, Rhythm, and Rhyme. And I'm going to pass over to my co-host, Sister Zetha to take us into our last home stretch.
Thank you, my dear. The rhythm section was definitely powerful. I kept thinking we need Sister Osset to calm us and center us and bring us some peace with the drumming. We need Sister Tracy to teach us that war dance so we know who we're dealing with. We can go out there and get that ready to go. And of course, we need Brother Quadro to alarm us when the police are coming, because they are on us these days. So thank you all for your gifts to us today. For the rhyme section, we're starting with Brother Preacher Teacher from the Kwakwa from South Africa. Brother Preacher Teacher, how are you today?
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Very good. Glad you're here, brother.
Thank you so much for hosting me. First things first, let me give my pass my gratitude to the Association of Black Psychologists and giving me an honor to join you guys tonight. Hey.
Thank you, all the way from South Africa. Thank you. We're glad that you're here, that you were able to connect.
True. Thank you so much. Though we're having problems here, power cuts and all that, but it's all by grace that I'm here, gracing the stage with you guys. So without further ado, I don't talk much. I talk much through spoken word. My name is Preacher Technic. I'm a slam spoken word artist. I'm a film graduate as well. So I'm a very committed community developer. I'm based in the eastern part of the Free State in South Africa, in a very small town, Kwakwa. So yeah, I'm just gonna share my poetry with you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. This first poem, it's actually dedicated to all the Black brothers that lost their lives during the struggle and what they fought for in 2011 in Marikana, South Africa. A couple of voices humming anger out of sweet melodies attracted vultures to gather with wide open wings, ready to grab a meal out of human's flesh, sharpening their teeth wide out to the gust, sun shining upon the scene about to take a place. Sevens coughed, small rings vomiting venomous saliva that takes a life within a snap of an index, reflecting a light that makes an eye go blinking. Pardon. Who ever thought that? Not having a unique form of fabric with the color navy blue, gray bells, navy pants, black shoes, stars shining upon your shoulders, shouting, officer, whoever you are is a sin. These brownies were just sitting as a bunch of muffins singing with their bold voices with no intention of going back home laid inside boxes. Today their sons and daughters has nothing left to remind them of their fathers, but dying roses beneath their flickering dancing fingertips. And it's all because of you, father. Yes, you the one who shot the man who promised the single 8-year-old daughter that he will be back home by 8 o'clock to sing her a lullaby and tell her a fairy tale story before a beautiful good night's sleep. And that's a promise he failed to keep. For you shot his heart out to the gospels to make sure no one is hiding behind his back. And I give that a clap, soul to soul, ashes to ashes, soil to soil. Protesters out of Marikana back to erosion, and our fathers kills us.
Wow.
Thank you so much. This piece was actually, it was inspired by the events that are happening. Knowing South Africa, it's reaching minerals and what's happening currently. So these were bunch of troopers who were actually willing to fight for what's theirs, what's underneath, what they believe and know for sure that it's their land, you know, and that's how it ended. Yeah. So this next piece, it's actually inspired by my close friend. He is deaf. He can't speak, so he's very smart. He's a music intellect, and he has done so many things that I've actually wondered if he had the ear to listen, what he would have achieved. If he had an ability to talk, what he would have taught the world, you know. But he speaks through his music, and it's unfortunate he is not around and he couldn't reply. I was actually asking if I could use some of his work and share it with us, but he couldn't respond. So it's something I couldn't do on my own. But I'm gonna perform this next piece. This next piece is actually dedicated to him. It's titled walk a mile in Danny's shoe. The greatest stories were created by hands and set forth through our tongues in different phraseology. I want to recite a story of my deaf neighbor, Danny, son of a lion clan, son of a silent god. He has been a censored species of his third clan's generation for the past 3.5 decades. Learned and mastered the art of his clan's praise through the language his body and hands speak. Uttered million words in different offbeat meanings. His wisdom subtitles vacant lips edifying his audible ankle bite his nephew's siblings louder than he could have ever imagined. I have seen Danny engineering music and dancing to the rhythm of echo. They of knew what we hear was once had within, and we are the instrumental mouthpieces of those who can't speak. They of knew that deaf ears don't want to hear our voices, but silently listen to God, whispering melodious vibrations to their claps and taps at times. I glare at Danny and see a dismembered, broken man in a deep, dark hole, reaching out his hand for a helping hand, but too afraid to shout, for no matter how long he may long to scream, only his deafening, numb body in pain will lessen his brain. His brain is obstructed by burning thoughts, making him claw mark his skin to the last tissues every time his inner voice cannot comprehend to the universe. He wishes to shrink back into his mother's womb, use her voice as his through her umbilical cord, archive his untold chronicles on a mother's placenta. Then he doesn't know his mom's voice. In his image, it sounds like a soothing, beautiful inflection of God-first soloist singing songs of praise up above in heaven. He takes his mother's picture, rubs it against the skin to feel her touch close at hand, oh dear Danny. His brain is obstructed by burning thoughts, making him claw mark his skin to the last tissues. Danny doesn't want to take long to talk. And all he needs is a moment. Just a moment. Thank you for listening to Danny. That is my piece, and that was it for tonight. My name is Preacher Technic. If you would like to follow more of my work, it's Preacher Technic on social platforms. On Instagram, it's Preacher Technic. On Facebook, it's Preacher Technic. Website, I'm loading it. I'm launching it in 2 weeks' time. It's www.preachertechnic.co.za. So yeah, thank you so much for having me, people. One love. I love you guys from South Africa.
Preacher Technique. Wow. You said we are the instrumental mouthpieces of those who cannot speak for themselves.
Yes.
The power
Yes, ma'am.
of your
Yes,
words, the vibration. We're talking about vibes as medicine. The vibration of your voice, enraptured with the power of your words. My goodness. Thank you so much for sharing with us, and thank you so much for giving our viewers your contact information. I'm sure you are going to be having a lot of folks following up with you because your words are powerful. You know, just like food, medicine, words are medicine too. And you just kind of blessed us and contributed to our healing today. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I would love to travel all over the world and preach the gospel of poetry the way I do. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Your poetry is needed. It's healing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our next presenter hails from Saint Anne, Jamaica. And every time I think of his name, ABPsi, I think the one good thing about music is when it hits, you feel no pain. Brother ABPsi is joining us today from Jamaica. ABPsi, can you hear us? I think you're on mute, brother. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, now I'm on mute. Blessed love to everyone.
Thank you, brother. We are talking today about music as healing, and one of my favorite genres of music is reggae. Since I was a little girl and my parents would play Damian Marley and Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and all of the other reggae artists. And here you are as a young brother, a roots artist. Can you share with us a little bit about the power of healing that reggae music brings to the world and what some of your experiences have been in the music world as far as the healing power of reggae?
Yes, I sure can. I mean, music is life. So once you have life, then you have to have your mindset, you know what I mean, and what you want to do. So reggae music has helped me a lot to figure out who I am, where I'm from, and what we are about as a Rasta youth, you know what I mean. So definitely, reggae music touched my soul and allow me to touch other souls.
Definitely. Are there
Yes,
any artists that that kind of helped to shape you as an artist and whose music, other than your own, has helped to heal you?
Well, I mean, growing up in 9 Mile, I would always listen to Bob Marley as inspired by him. I mean, I wanted to do music that was pure and music that brings that kind of message across. So definitely, from a young age, I wanted to do reggae music, and I knew that was the music for me because of the kind of music I would listen to and how it is.
You're gonna, it's my understanding you're gonna share a song or two with us this afternoon.
Say again, I couldn't just hear you just now.
I said it's my understanding you're gonna share a song or two with us this afternoon.
Yes, I'm gonna share this song. I mean, I would like to share 2 songs with you all. I mean, because it's really a pleasure to have been in this group, listening to the voice of the people that I've heard. I mean, rhythm section was very nice. So here we are, and I would like to share this one. This one is called Togetherness. This one is called Togetherness, and it goes like this. Togetherness brings happiness. No man is an island, one hand must wash the next. Righteousness exalt any nation. Together we are strong, equal rights for all, no less. No more warfare, escape from tribal division. Give Scarface a role and let him play his decision. Take this opportunity, let's live in love and unity. All of humanity, home and then community. Together we are more than a strong nation. This is not the time for no separation. Come, let us labor for liberation. Make we overcome the troubles and the tribulation. Togetherness brings happiness. No man is an island, one hand must wash the next. Righteousness exalt any nation. Together we are strong, equal rights for all, no less. Well, that one is called Togetherness, as it is a pleasure to be together with you all, sharing ideas. You know
Thank you
what I mean?
for sharing togetherness too, Black Amai, especially in this time where everyone is talking about social distancing and all of the ways we cannot be together. So it's very powerful that the song you chose to share with us is about togetherness. Thank you. It is.
Start over.
Are you going to share another?
Yes, this one I'm about to share is called Modern Day Freedom. We definitely need to be free ourselves in this time, you know what I mean? And as the sister was saying earlier about the food that we eat and the energy that we put through in the air, you know what I mean? So we have to definitely be aware of what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We all seek a world in which we are free. A freedom for you, a freedom for me, yeah. Modern day freedom. We can't give up the fight. We need to see your kingdom. I'm trying to get it right, yeah. and circle your mind. If you're in darkness, find the light. Modern day freedom just won't come overnight. No equality, some living in a poverty. Leaders in society is building on a the way it said it needs more years of atrocity. So many people can't afford the commodity. No job creation, what me hear them call plenty. No delay for the first me hear and nurse me got. So might pass the worst, but the teacher person. Celestia I the first for my day so lente. Modern day freedom. We can't give up the fight. We need to see the kingdom. I'm trying to get it right, yeah. Free your mind. If you're in darkness, find the light. A modern day freedom just won't come overnight. To govern this thing a long time, God, we saw them. Teaching when you should know them. Intelligent mind recession come fi blow them. Infiltrate me further. I may for say me owe them. Me no need starvation, them a beg and them a borrow. Without more cultivation, the escape look narrow. High taxation needs more pain and sorrow. Self-reliance start now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Day freedom. Can't give up the fight. We need to see the kingdom. Trying to get it right, yeah. Free your mind. If you're in darkness, find the light. A modern day freedom. Come overnight, no. Oh.
Black and
Sorry
Mike.
about the vibes. There was something in the background happening. I'm sorry. But that one is called Modern Day Freedom. And we all need to be free. So let us free our minds, hearts, and then we definitely have the kind of energy to do what is required of us to be free. So this is Black and Mike. I want to say enough respect.
Enough respect, brother Black and Mike.
Yes,
Thank you. Also understand that you just released a new song. Is it King of Kings?
Yeah, that's the name of the track that I just released.
Can you give us a link to it so we can play it and post it on the Association of Black Psychologists webpage so we can all get a chance to hear it? Can you?
Definitely.
I'll get a link.
Definitely.
I'll post it.
It's available on iTunes and all the music platforms that's out there. It was released on the 23rd of this month, and we did pay a tribute to His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. You know what I mean? So, well, the link is not right at my fingertip right now, but I'll definitely share with you, and then you could share with the others.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll put it on the Association of Black Psychologists Facebook page when I finish.
Okay, thank you.
I want to thank you. I want to also thank Preacher Technique. You guys really kind of did a slam dunk job today for the rhyme section. So we all.
It was a pleasure. It was definitely a pleasure to listen to you all too.
Thank you. And can you give us your contact on Facebook and Instagram? How do we see you on Facebook and Instagram?
It's black.ami.music. So it's blackami.music.
Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate it.
It's Black Ami Music, but it's spelled with a dot between each word. So black.am.i.music. That's how you'll find me on Instagram.
Thank you for your gift to us today, Black and Mai. You are appreciated. Brother Preacher Technique, humble blessings to you and everyone who has given us their beautiful, wonderful gifts today. I'm going to be turning the microphone over to Dr. Goddard. Baba G, are you in the house yet?
Yes, I'm in the house.
Okay, thank you.
He is in the house. He's going to wrap up our Black by Design, Roots, Rhythm and Rhyme, Making Medicine. Lots of medicine has been made today. I think everyone, if you stepped into the room feeling any type of way other than well, you have been cured today. You should be well. Thank you all. Dr. Goddard, Baba G, I'm passing you the mic.
Okay. Greetings, everyone. I am Lawford Goddard. I'm the elder of the Bay Area chapter of the Association of Black Psychologists. Welcome, everyone. And as we come to the conclusion of this most powerful webinar, we have learned so much this morning or today that I am filled and I am healed and I have medicine that I obtained from each and every one of you today. Our sister Zetu started us off with discussing the importance of land, reconnecting to the soil and the importance of soil and what that meant for us. And then Shaka Zulu gave us that most powerful film demonstrating the importance of land and the connectedness of land. And Azizi's art was very important in terms of how he expressed the images that he saw and felt, but no one else saw and felt it until he had put it and made the invisible visible. So that's an important part of the medicine that we have to understand, the medicine around making manifest that which is invisible. And then Sister Romeri took us to the high place of food and diet and nutrition and understanding of how what we eat determines who we are. And so that was so powerful. Sister Asset, the concept of depth breathing and breathing from the diaphragm in and out and letting those negative energies dissipate. And Brother Quadro, important, every time I hear Brother Quadro speak, I learn something new. So he gave us rhythm as ordered vibration. Ordered vibration. The nature of being is order. And Brother Quadro reminded us of ordered rhythm. And then Sister Tracy, took us further in talking about dance as preparation for the next step of being. Preacher was so powerful, and I think Sister Zeta spoke about it, that we are the instrumental voice of those who cannot speak. And finally, Black Amai brought us all together in talking about togetherness, we are one, and the important point about awareness of what we do. Oftentimes we do things, but we're not aware of what we do and the implications of what we do. So in conclusion, I want to suggest that we have a document that was created called While Sheltering in Place, and it's a guide and workbook that was created by Baba Nobles to enable us to express those healing rituals and practices that we each individually create. So I want to suggest that we'll post this While Sheltering in Place in the ABPsi Facebook. We ask folks to complete it once you have done, complete it and send it back to us so that we can have now a compendium of ideas and practices and rituals that are created to heal ourselves. And this then becomes a living document that would be placed on the ABPsi website, and we add more rituals, practices, and ceremonies as they become developed. So I'm going to just quickly share this last page here so folks can see my email address. And it's at the bottom here. You can send it to me, lawfordg@gmail.com. That's where we want you all to send all those rituals and practices that we have created. I'll collect them, put them in some sort of order, and then we publish this on the website. Today's webinar, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 critical areas of healing and of creating medicine So this is medicine now that folks can then take any or all of the topics that we discussed today and create healing practices, create medicine based upon these different topics, because each of us resonate differently to the concepts and ideas that were presented in the webinar, and that we can use that diversity to create a more powerful document that reflects the togetherness and unity of the African consciousness. It is our spirit that is going to guide us to heal and overcome the visible barriers, but we know that on the invisible realm, our spirit and our ancestors are providing us with the guidance. So we have to quiet ourselves, as Sister Zetu said, and listen to those voices that are speaking to us so that we can understand the message and the connectedness with the invisible realm. So we want to take some things from the invisible realm and make it visible and manifest, that others who have not acquired or who have not quieted themselves to listen to their own ancestors can participate in the healing medicine that we are creating as part of this process of healing that these webinars are intended to achieve. And with that, I remind you all, send your responses to lawfordg@gmail.com. And I want to thank Sisters Ifitayo and Zeta for managing a most powerful webinar today, and Sister Patricia Nunley, who is in the background, who brought us together and was the spark and the energy to create this webinar. And I'll turn it back over to Sister Zeta and Ife.
Baba G, can you take off the screen share?
Yes, I am. Okay, there you go.
Thank you. What a beautiful group of African people. It's so nice to see everyone and to experience this wellness and healing this afternoon. Again, I'm going to echo Dr. Goddard's appreciations to everyone for giving us your time. Other than Tracy and Dr. Wade Nobles and Sister Ethiopia, I think everybody's still in the room. Ife Tayo, I'm going to turn it over to you to close out and take us off of live.
Thank you so much. We've had a good time today. This is Black by Design Part 3. And we hope that you were feeling the vibes and getting the medicine that we all are in much need of. As we continue to move forward, please don't forget us at abpsi.org. You can also follow chapters, Bay Area chapter, ABPsi Bay Area.com. And we have our president from Houston here. I'm going to let her get some words in too before we close out our co-hosting chapter. Do you have something for us, Anil?
Yes, I would just like to say, to contact Houston, you would go to our Facebook pages, which is Houston Association of Black Psychologists, and our fan page is Houston Association of Black Psychologists, ABPsi, and also our website is www.houstonabpsi.org. And of course, we have a Facebook page. Again, it's Houston Association of Black Psychologists on Instagram.
Sister Ife, before we go, I need to say the way I came up with this roots, rhythm, and rhyme, I was listening to Baba Wade talk, and he was talking about, we got to make some medicine. We got to make some medicine. So I want to give him honor and praise because he is the one that planted the seed in me. He's like, we got to make our own medicine. And Baba G, I got to always say thank you to you because you always keep me in check. Then my Babas, hey, Mama Vera, love y'all all. Thank you, South Africa. Kwakwa, thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you. All right, I'm going to get out of the way now.
Before we take it off, I just want to remind everyone the powerful words of Martin Luther King. Even illness becomes wellness when we replace the I with we. Remember that.
Zeta, could we end the Facebook and then do a debrief quickly?
Absolutely. Will the manager please take us off live?
Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Don't leave yet.
Still live.
Yeah.
ABPsi. greets everyone.